So, yeah, the biggest problem with self development is this constant need to always fix yourself. And this is confusing because if you're good enough as you are, when does it end? When does why is it that we need to raise awareness and actually dig deeper into, these parts of ourselves and understand them? If we're good enough as we are, why do we need to do that? And what you'll find is that the more work you do, the more that you do heal, the more free you feel, because you won't have resistance. There won't be so much attachment to some illusionary identity that you're constantly protecting to make yourself feel better about yourself. And I know what I just said, there's a lot to what I just said, but this is the difference between healing and trying to fix yourself constantly. If you're stuck in this searching mode where you're always looking for more and more, that's the implication of that is that you're never going to be whole. There's always another course, there's always another method, there's always another technique, there's always another way for you to mend yourself. And it's always this feeling of one day when I'm whole, when I finally understand, then I'm going to be good and I can finally live my life. I can finally have a relationship. I can finally approach women that I want to approach. I can finally stop procrastinating. Whereas, and this is what Eckhart Tolle says, and I completely agree with this, it's only identification. So if you identify with needing to be fixed, the implication is that you are somewhat broken. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't consciously become aware of your past, of things that happen to you and bring meaning to them, but do it consciously. And what that does is it frees up a lot of tension. It makes you feel very light. It makes you feel like you've let go of a lot of this because it's no longer running the show in the background, right? It's no longer unconsciously controlling you. And if you're looking at this from a place of curiosity and non-judgment, just objectively, like this is what happened to me and this is how I've been responding, then you'll see it objectively. You'll detach from the mechanism of the ego, the mechanism of the mind that's doing all of this to protect you. Because the outcome of all of that is a life not lived. It's a life of anxiety. It's a life of not fully reaching your potential because you're playing it safe, because you're like worrying one day when, always looking to be complete before you actually go for the relationship that you want or go for the job offer that you want. And why? Because you're afraid to fail, right? This is the issue. If you're afraid to fail, it's because it might reveal that you are broken in the first place. And this is the insidious nature of the ego. The ego is basically just trying to protect you. It's not really against you. It just doesn't want you to experience negative emotions. And that's the genius thing about it. It's the very thing preventing you. But when you realize that negative emotions, what happens is when you have shame and you have this unconscious belief that you may be defective, negative emotions, they get conflated with that must be true. I feel bad, therefore I am bad. And that's completely different. What you start to realize when you heal is I feel bad, but I understand. I understand why I feel bad. No wonder I feel bad. And you have a much more secondary view, a sort of bird's eye view of yourself. You're now like looking at yourself as if to say, yeah, no wonder what I went through. Of course I'm going to have anxiety. Of course I'm going to feel like this. It's no surprise. But it doesn't mean you identify with being broken. You just see it objectively. Like that's the response of what anyone would go. That's the normal response. If anybody else went through this, that's how they would be acting. They would have addictions. They would procrastinate. So when you detach like that, you actually see yourself objectively, and then you're not identified with being broken or this is personal. This is just how I am, like a victim mentality. You start to see yourself through that lens. That's healing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get nervous. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have anxiety or, these catastrophizing thoughts are not going to come up. Except now what happens is when you create this separation, you're no longer identified with the thoughts. You're no longer thinking or believing that you are the thoughts. You are now this present awareness behind the thoughts. You'll create a space behind them. That's healing. And all that is disidentifying or not identifying with the thoughts. You no longer believe the hypnosis of the ego, which is trying to keep you safe. And it's doing that because it predicts that you don't want to feel a negative emotion. It's genius when you think about it, but it's trapped in the past. It's coming from a time when probably you were younger, when your value was in question, and now because that created pain during the time. Now it knows, don't do anything that may reveal this belief because it's too painful. But it's just a belief. It's not true. Your value, your inherent value is flat. It's not high, it's not low. It's everybody is of value. And that's a realization, that's an understanding. That's not something you have to question. And people that are attached to their egos, narcissistic, people that are constantly drawing their value from the outside world, what they're doing through insecurity is they have that belief that they're not good enough as they are. So they're looking for their value on the outside. Like the external is always where they get their value. They don't realize that they have inherent value. They are value. Right? Nothing can take that away except the fear of that being questioned. Just the very fear of that triggers the ego. It triggers this defense mechanism. Don't go for the job opportunity. Don't approach the person that you find attractive. Don't speak up. Don't voice your opinion. People please. Work hard. Work as hard as you can. Be a perfectionist. All of this is protecting you from feeling negative emotions. And that's why shame, that's why I talk about shame on this channel a lot. That's why shame is so insidious. That's why shame causes so many problems, because people don't realize what this mechanism is. And then they conflate shame with I am bad, like the shame feeling, and avoiding negative feelings to I feel the feeling because I am that feeling. I am bad. I am negative. I am defective. I am broken. So awareness is healing. The more that you become aware of these mechanisms, that the more you will understand, the more you'll detach, the more that you'll realize, yeah, of course I'm going to feel like this. No wonder. No, considering what I went through, this is objectively how I would look, how anybody would look at the end of that. And then you develop self-compassion. Self-compassion is understanding that, yes, of course, you're going to be making mistakes. You're going to be doing things which are detrimental to your health and other people's health, but you had no choice. Self-forgiveness and self-compassion go hand in hand. You have radical self-compassion, radical self-forgiveness, because you realize you didn't have any choice, right? Anybody in your situation under the circumstances would have done what you did. And that's why understanding healing and fixing yourself is also part of this process. So if you want to go deeper on this, book a free call with me. Go to the link below. Let's talk. Maybe I've rambled a little bit there. I've covered a lot, but if that makes sense, check out the link and we'll talk. We'll talk personally. It'd be nice to meet you guys. And subscribe and like and comment if that made sense. I just want to get things off my chest and talk more in these videos. So yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.